There is but 7 days left, my fellow Marvel rivals, friends of the community. We cannot wait, can we? And I've got a really interesting video coming up for you exploring nerfs and buffs. But it was interesting to see that we had Spider-Man No Way Home skin confirmed. Twitch drops for those that want to come out to live streams. I will be live streaming on the 6th of December later on in the day because it drops at 1 AM European time and I need some sleep. And look out for more reveals that will be coming from the dev team in these coming 7 days. Also, I'm sorry to ask this, but could you think about subscribing to the channel, please? The reason I ask is that 82% of people aren't subscribed. This is the first time I've mentioned this in 137 videos to say this amount of people aren't subscribed and please subscribe. Other than that, there's a pop-up saying about subscribing. It just would help support the channel. A thank you. The one thing I've got to do is keep a log of data that we get from the abilities of the characters, because things have changed from the closed alpha, the closed beta, the Chinese test, and what we'll be seeing next week when the game goes live. You can check out the description, all the different tabs will be up on screen for you to pick the hero you want to find out some details about. I've collected together as much data as possible to pinpoint changes, nerfs and buffs to some of the heroes and villains in game. So let's begin with Venom. Word on the street is that this character's had his symbiotic resilience changed. Now it's grant 100 bonus health and convert 100% of lost health into bonus health. This has been seen as a slight nerf to the amount of health the character was getting back. That's why when you were playing the closed beta test, that Venom was alive a lot of the time because he was incredibly resilient. Much more than what is stipulated here, but we'll have to see how this plays out when we play him next week. Where Magik's concerned, there's a bit of differing of opinion on what is changed about the character. Some are pointing out, as part of Limbo's might, that she has lost a chunk of health. In fact, about 50 health. But whether or not this was a change off of her base health, rather than the passive extra health, there's a question to be had with that. There's also a claim about a loss of 10 damage off of her soul sword. There's also interesting chatter going on about the extent of anchor buffs, aka season buffs, and the extent of what the Black Panther team up ability is with Psylocke, and the extent of damage lost to damage gained based on having it and not having it, and as we said, the season buff. Good news for Psylocke, she gets a little buff. Psylocke isn't even in game yet, but since we saw early footage of the character, players have noted that she now gets 2 charges instead of 1 when using her Psy Blade dash. I know a lot of people cannot wait to play this character next week. My favourite healer gets a buff, that is Jeff the Landshark. He is so cute. Because now his hide and seek heals you for 35 HP and grants unstoppable while active. That's great if you need to get away from an area healer before going back in to help out others. You're gonna survive, Jeff my lad. Also, there's an enhancement on movement speed. And when enemies touch the bubbles you produce nearby, then they'll be popped and will be knocked back. Oh, I cannot wait to play Jeff again. Scarlet Witch's Chaos Control gets a little change, as now she deals damage based on percentage of their max health. And that damage in particular is 5 base damage plus 0.5% of the enemy's max health per hit. This nerfs down the character a little bit, who is very OP in the world of Marvel Rivals. Doctor Strange, he's a very nice little buff. Seeing his ammo rise from 6 to 8 from the beta, Anti-heal state now has a delay of 3 seconds when Dark Magic meter is maxed. Eye of Agamotto's stun lasts for 3 seconds instead of 4. This is great for those that like this character as their main, especially their main tank. You'll be able to do a little bit more damage than you did before, so very positive news. For those that like Adam Warlock, there's a great little addition for reviving. Word on the street is his Cocoon's cooldown got decreased from 120 to 105, which of course allows him to revive himself faster. This is a welcome change and improvement to Adam Warlock. Peni Parker seems to have had a slight buff to her snare, because when enemies are ensnared and while they're trapped in a cyber web, Peni receives 25 healing per second. Any excess healing is converted into bonus health up to a maximum of 150 health and grants a 25% movement boost. There will be questions as to how you play that. As Carl says, I think it only applies when Peni is standing on it. And of course, yes, the word choice is a bit strange. But this allows the character to be more aggressive and be more on the front foot, which you would expect for a tank that's meant to absorb a lot of damage, but also having that self-healing really helps out to be aggressive within the fight style of the character. There's a quick write-up by Gear_ that charts some stuff with Lunar Snow and Mantis changes. First of all, going over Lunar Snow being a potential of a nerf, just showing some things that have like reduced down. Healing shared reduced from 40% to 35%. Healing reduced from the Ice Arts from 85 to 75. And a few other kind of light changes as well. But health increase to 275, giving you potential to stay alive a little bit longer. The same thing can be said for Mantis. Again, similar concept with changes there. I'll put links in the description if you don't want to read any of this stuff, and sources that, of course, are linked in the description. 250 to 275 has been kind of bumped up, which we saw yesterday in yesterday's video. And then we've got other changes as well. Duration increases for Spore Slumber. Then we've got a reduction in damage boosts by 17.5%, 12%. And the same thing when it comes to natural anger, which has been reduced down. So there's a lot of things that might have been changed. We will have to experience them firsthand. Of course, there was a lot to take in just that little segment of video. There's a lot more that has been changed about some of these characters. That's the best amount that I could gather in information-wise, and it could be very extensive. I'm sure other character changes will come to light. And one thing I just want to note to anybody that may be upset, annoyed about their favourite character, their main changing, is that things can change season by season. Playing the character, when we get a chance next week, you'll probably find that it's absolutely fine. If there's small little tweaks to damage potential, then we definitely find out like who is the new top tier character going forward. And unfortunately, this is just it's unfortunately game development. Game development as a whole will look at a character that you like, or look at the top rated, top used, top damage output character and go, well, how do we nerf this into oblivion? Not in a malicious way. It's just that if one character like Scarlet Witch was a good example, she was OP to begin with, and characters like Hulk were just not as good as maybe they should be. So to see characters get a little bit of a boost is something of a positive. So we got to like take it from a little bit of a positive stance on all of this, because at the end of the day, we got to enjoy our games, and games have to be balanced when it comes to characters, and especially when it comes to an MMO like this one, or like a fighting game. It needs to be balanced. You can't really have characters too OP, because then nobody wants to play against them, and people just want to play with them, which of course causes an imbalance. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting the content. Please subscribe if you haven't done already, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it's an exciting one.